Hello there, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Miles Hicks, and welcome to the Miles Hicks Show, Episode 1. And today we're just going to be talking about what I have seen since the election, what has been going on from the Republican side, the Democrat side, and just the craziness that we are in for the next 4 years. So let me take you back to when I was watching the election with my friends. And, we were all pretty much hoping that Trump would win, but I was actually very curious to see what the more left leaning side, the Democratic side, was thinking about the election. And no shock, they thought that Kamala was going to sweep the entire nation, that maybe this would be the first year that we would see Texas turning blue. And that is a bold claim in and of itself. But as the night started, as I said, the Democrats were very confident that Kamala was going to just wipe the floor with Trump. There was no hope for him to win. And they kept talking about their confidence in the voter base. There was a poll that they kept referencing where the top issue with voters was democracy. And they had talked about on their campaign, and Kamala Harris in particular, talked about on her campaign trail, not necessarily that she was a proponent of democracy and that she was willing to put her hands in put her job basically in the hands of the voters, but she spent a lot of time talking about how Donald Trump was antithetical to the idea of democracy, and that she, much like other Democrats, was confident in the voter base because of one of the issues, or one of the top issues being democracy. Apparently that was a Democratic talking point. And I have to say, it was very interesting watching the Democratic attitude change. By Democratic, I mean the Democrats. Their attitude change as the night continued and as more and more states kept being called for Donald Trump. And what I witnessed, it wasn't so much that people were losing confidence in Kamala's ability to take over the presidency. In fact, they were still quite confident that what they called the blue wall would hold, and that those states, regardless of how many went to Trump, would secure her presidency, minus a couple few what they consider battleground states, Pennsylvania, Georgia, and North Carolina being one of the few. And what I saw was, so as I said, it started out, complete blowout. And then as the night continued, it was like, okay, we won these states. And then as more states being called for Trump, okay, now we got to win these counties in these states because it's looking for Trump. But if we can get, Atlanta County, then it's all over. Game over, man. Like, it's funny. I mean, I'm not laughing because of hindsight. I'm laughing because it's very interesting human behavior. How they were so confident that she was going to win. I mean, I'll admit, as someone who did vote for Trump, I was kind of at the edge of my seat. I was like, well, I'm still fairly confident that Trump was going to win, but it was a bit of a nail biter. It's like, as a buddy of mine said, that he's going to be there, till the chickens come home to roost, because, we all were confident that Trump was going to win a second term. But then we all went to bed, and we woke up, and lo and behold, Joe Biden's president is like, huh? What? How? We were so sure. Yeah, but this year, not so much. So as I was watching it, a good example of this attitude was Destiny. For those of you who don't know who Destiny is, he is a left-wing political and cultural commentator on Twitch. And on YouTube as well. He basically plays video games and commentates on politics and culture. And he hosted a live stream with other YouTuber friends of his, other streamer friends of his, and he had, his whole setup there. I mean, he has tons of money, so it was very big budget, high production. And he very much was one of the more popular figures, and I would say extreme cases of that mentality. I really recommend that you guys watch that live stream, or at least there's a supercut of it that you all should watch. Just the Destiny election highlights. I forgot who makes those videos, but it's a very, very good video and very interesting. I'll put a link into the description so you guys can watch. But the waxing and waning of attitude, and like I said, the circle of concern shrinking as Trump kept pushing ahead in the race. But then there was Cenk Uygur with the Young Turks. Oh boy, that was like the exact opposite. Like Cenk started out fairly confident Kamala was gonna win. I have confidence in the voters. What they kept talking about, I have confidence in these voters, man. I have confidence that they are going to choose right, that they are going to choose Kamala Harris because she, unlike Donald Trump, is not a convicted felon. I guess, yeah. But as the night continued, he started losing hope, man. I mean, he wasn't huffing that copium, unlike other people. And it was like, I want to say it was like an hour before the race was called off, because I think it was that Trump had won North Carolina, and then Cenk was like, "It's all over, man." And it's because of you, the people in power, the Democrats, who got elected and did nothing, that they decided to, fart around Congress and the executive branch and just did a whole bunch of nothing. And I call upon the voters, this is Cenk speaking, I call upon the voters to fire these people. Get them out of here. It was so great watching it in real time. Oh, he was pissed, to say the least. Oh my gosh. And, now Cenk is, many people criticize him for soaking up the Trump and the right-wing populist movement. Sure. I mean, that's his prerogative. I mean, can a man change his mind? But during the election, that is what I saw. And then everyone went home, okay, Donald Trump won. People, they went to sleep, they slept off all that alcohol, and then, the next morning, everyone was hungover and pissed off. And, you've seen the videos. Maybe you have, maybe you haven't, but, the videos all over TikTok of just countless number of men and women hooping and hollering at the top of their lungs that, a Cheeto got elected president. And it almost makes me think, like, what do you think is going to happen? Like, I'm just curious. Like, because they talk about that this is the end of democracy. This is the end of people having a voice in the government, and that now the people that we elect, or that have been elected, are essentially going to be there forever, and that they're not going to change things, and that in fact that President Trump is going to cede more power to them and away from the people. At least that's my understanding of that perspective. And so, I mean, watching those videos, it was just hilarious. I mean, I like Schadenfreude. I like cringe, and I wouldn't say it's cringe watching those videos, but what I would say is I can't help but feel a little bit of pity that these people have absorbed their lives so much in politics that they feel like the apocalypse is here. That, you know, screw the trumpet sounding, the breaking of the seven seals, and the pouring of the four bowls over the world. That doesn't matter. Donald Trump got elected. It is the end of the world. I'm going to Mexico. Which, I don't remember Mexico sending an invitation. I don't remember Canada being like, oh yeah, come on over. Oh, we're real sorry about what we couldn't do. And it was also very interesting to see how quickly the Democratic Party turned against the voters. Like, I saw this a lot with Destiny and other left-wing commentators. You know, they when they would ever like recap the election, it was almost like they had amnesia about what they talked about or like what happened previously. They discussed about, well, how did Donald Trump get elected? It's like, oh, well, those damn voters, they're so stupid. They're stupid. They couldn't tell that Kamala Harris was clearly the best candidate. And it's all because that they were fueled by hate and vitriol and sexism and racism. You know, all this bigotry. You know, Donald Trump was able to weaponize that. That's the word I hate that word, weaponize. Because, like, what do you mean by that? What do you mean by weaponizing? Are you talking about being charismatic? Being convincing? Or is it merely the fact that someone was able to change their mind? Like, I don't understand. Well, actually, I take that back. I do understand why they're using the rhetoric that they're using, but it is very confusing. Like, I don't like that term, weaponizing. Because what happens when we actually have people who are actually trying to weaponize injustices in our society to a strong degree? You know, I think that there are people out there who weaponize the racism in this country to further their own agenda, who weaponize the criminal injustice and the racial, and not the racial, the sexual injustice for their own profit gain. I mean, it's clear. That's evidence. Clear as crystal, man. When you go to the bathroom, are you ever just frustrated that your poop stinks? Well, thankfully, now there is a remedy for that. The Germans have done it once again. First ibuprofen, and now, thanks to Dr. Scheisser's new formula, it's as easy as taking 2 to 5 suppositories before, during, and after meals to ensure that your poop not only smells delicious, but smells clean as well. Dr. Scheisser's new formula comes in a variety of smells: viscous vanilla, runny roses, and chunky chocolate, and so many more. Now you can tell your friends and family that your poop does in fact smell like roses. Use code HICKS at checkout for a 5.6% discount on your first subscription. They offer a 3-month, 6-month, 1 year, and a 10-year subscription model for people of varying budgets and needs. So today, go to www.deutschescheisse.com/Hicks to place your order today. But getting back on track, you know, the Democrats practically just turned on the voters. They basically call them stupid. You're idiots. Like, okay, well, I don't know whose hearts and minds are changing at that point. Like, it seems very strange that in one moment, like essentially you're just like a spoiled teenager, you know. One moment you're singing the praises of all the people who, you think are on your side or you think are gonna, are gonna do good, and then the moment they're like, yeah, maybe not, I actually kind of want to go a different direction. You flip them a bird and spit on them. Like how is that democratic? I mean, how is that at all? Uh, in you representing your values. As if your values truly do align with the democratic process. I mean, do they? I suppose the only person who can answer that question is you, but or the Democrats, I suppose. The Democrat I'm speaking to. Um. Okay. But I can't help but draw a lot of parallels between what happened in 2016 and what happened with this election. There's claims of fraud. There's claims of just like strong right wing propaganda. Which can I say? I truly do believe this. I think one of the big reasons why Trump won was because he went on Joe Rogan, and he did that McDonald's stunt. I think that one of the biggest reasons why Kamala's loss was as big as it was because no one knew who she was. I mean, I would be curious to know the statistics of the people who voted for Trump purely because they understood him more. Like, take away all the rhetoric that he said. Take away whether he was right or wrong about whatever he talked about. And let's just focus on Kamala for a second. What did she propose? What did she propose? Where was her? Where was she? Like, where was she? Like, the most high profile thing that she done, I think, was the CNN interview. And that was highly edited. And then I watched the full thing. And she didn't handle it well. Like, she was meandering, didn't really answer any questions. And when faced with any slight pushback, she kind of just fell back on I'm paraphrasing here, but I'm trying to think about, like, she was like, America needs a leader. Like, she'd say something like that, like, America needs a leader who's not going to let them down. America needs a leader who is going to look after their best interests and who is not going to take power away from them or to do anything to slight them or hurt them. And it's like, yeah, you're not wrong, but how do you fit that role? How do you fit within that description that you just gave? What are you going to do? That's the thing. Like, what was Kamala gonna do? She did nothing as a vice president for 4 years, and then we want to give her a promotion because she asked for it. Like, I'm not a huge Trump supporter, but like, was I supposed to vote for Kamala instead because of that? Because I'm not super big into Trump. So let's fast forward a little bit. And because things pretty much, I say, settled down. Once everyone had their fit, they were just tired. The lefties were tired, the right wings were tired. And then it came through a slew of executive orders. And that was that. until the congressional hearing. And I don't think I have ever seen a display of hypocrisy quite as strong as what I saw at the congressional hearing. I don't know if what Trump did was a happy accident or beautifully coordinated, but, you know, the Democratic side has always been very good with the emotional argument, has always been very good at speaking to people on an emotional level. Now, some people don't care about that as much. I mean, the common phrase is my facts don't care about your feelings. Yeah, but you know who does care about our feelings? Like we do. We care about our feelings. That's what I find so frustrating about that phrase. Well, while you're sitting there jerking off to the facts, all the people who actually feel something are going to the other side. Because they actually want to, they actually want someone to validate their feelings, even if their feelings are misplaced. Like, you could be a pseudo college professor all you want, but if you can't reach people in their emotions, then you're not going to get anywhere. And the Democrats have always been really good about that. If you're a concerned parent like me and you don't want your children on tablets or phones the whole damn day, then I have the solution for you. The Rap Rat VHS board game. It is a blast from the past. You and your family can enjoy countless hours assembling your cheese puzzle while under the subjugation of the Rap Rat. The Rap Rat will have your children saying cheese as they are possessed to carry out their punishments for failing to complete their own cheese puzzle in time. The game comes with the board, 32 cheese puzzle pieces, 4 pawns, and the VHS capsule where the Rap Rat creature is contained. I don't play it because who's a VHS player anymore? But you might know someone who does. So go to theraprat.com to start your order. Use code HICKS at checkout and get 13% off when you order 4 or more units. Give them to your friends and family so they themselves can experience the sheer torment of the Rap Rat. That is code HICKS at checkout, 13% when you order 4 or more units. Theraprat.com. Do it now. But what I saw at the congressional hearing, maybe I misunderstood it. Maybe, in fact, this is still part of latching on to that emotional argument. But there were some really heart-wrenching stories in there, man. Probably the one that got to me the most was the man who protected his wife and children during the assassination and died. And as a husband and a father, I mean, I hope I would never have to make that decision. But I certainly do hope that should that opportunity arise, that I would have the courage to do so. To sacrifice my life for my family. And I don't think that there would be anyone with a backbone or a grain of salt. That sounded weird. Or someone who's worth their salt, or even has like a functioning central nervous system, would claim that they wouldn't want someone to do that for them. That they wouldn't want their loved one to protect them in a deadly situation. And seeing the sighs, the nods, like in disapproval, the eye rolling. Wow. I mean, my jaw just dropped. I couldn't believe it. A 13-year-old kid who survived brain cancer. I mean, sure, screw the police, whatever, right? And who cares if he got inducted into the Secret Service? Which, can I say, by the way, what? I'm not making fun of the kid. Obviously not. What happened to him surely is nothing short of a miracle. God bless him. And being inducted into the Secret Service as an agent, that's not something that many people can claim to be. But what is he supposed to do? Like, he's 13 years old. What is he going to do? Is he actually going to be expected to die for our president? It should the need arise. Like, am I gonna see him at more congressional hearings with a pistol on his hip and an earpiece in his ear and sunglasses? But, like, you didn't see not even a cough. No hesitancy. It makes me wonder, is the goal to be opposed to the right side of our government as much as possible? Is the strategy of the left-leaning side of politics to be in total opposition as much and as often as possible to essentially halt whatever progress the right can make in the government? Now, I don't mean progress in a negative or even a positive sense. I just mean their ability to do anything, right? I guess if I mean progress, to progress the right wing agenda, whatever that is. And and so now there's more rhetoric about how they're going to fight. I don't know what they mean by that. What do they mean by fight? How? Burning down Tesla dealerships, vandalizing Tesla vehicles, calling Elon Musk and Trump a fascist and a racist and a Nazi. That's your idea of fighting? Because at least when it comes to the destruction of the Tesla vehicles, I mean, say what you will about Elon, I don't care. I'm not a huge Elon fan either. But you shouldn't be targeting innocent people. I don't care if they voted for Trump or not, or if they're a big Elon fan. I had my vehicle stolen, and I'll tell you what, it was tough. I mean, Teslas are not cheap vehicles. I'm pretty sure the people that have a Tesla, they're more wealthy than I am. But not having a car in America, at least, I mean, that's a difficulty right there. That's a disability. So much of our city infrastructure is been built on the automobile, and being able to get from point A to point B with the absolutely lackluster public transportation, or relying on friends and family for rides, as if they don't have their own lives to live. Like, you're hurting the wrong people. You're targeting the wrong people. You're just hurting other Americans. You're hurting your own cause. And I don't know if people who are Democratic realize that. Or if they do, it just seems pretty evil. It seems sinister. Like, protest all you want. I don't care. But don't go destroying people's lives with this misunderstanding that it's somehow going to get to Elon. Or maybe that's just it, you know? That the quickest way to get a reaction, or potentially a positive one, is to hurt people who don't deserve it. To destroy their property, put their lives in danger. Because that's what's going to get the quickest reaction. Well, I can most assuredly say that it's not going to go in your favor. What are they going to do? Oh, shoot. I completely... Oh, how could I be so blind? Man, I knew that my position on transsexual people in the military, transsexual people in sports, oh my gosh. How could I be so foolish? You know, it took, however many people's Tesla vehicles being vandalized, businesses burned down, and all those people who have been devastated by that vandalism. Oh my gosh. I see it now. I see the light. Praise God. Like, no. Absolutely not. Like, this is how we're supposed to be. This is acceptable behavior? Acting like barbarians? And this is what I meant by the hypocrisy. These are voters who you were so confident and had, had so much reverence for. And then now you think they're, mongoloids who deserve nothing but, I suppose, anything that you feel is necessary or willing to dish out. Oh my God, have mercy on your soul. I mean, I disagree quite heavily with people on the left, but I don't want to torch their car. Like, that's just ridiculous. And, I can't help but feel pity for people who think that is reasonable. That they feel as if that they have the ability and perhaps even the responsibility to do so. And shame on the media for not condemning this, as if vandalism of people's property is just another story to have. I mean, maybe I'm making this a much bigger thing than it is, but like I said, not having a vehicle is a very hard thing to live with. It's tough. And people are just trying to get by, man. I mean, we're all hurting. And you just want to make it worse for people? I hope you know what you're doing. Maybe something will go your way and you can cut this crap out. Because this is unacceptable. I think that's going to do it for me for right now. But I sincerely hope that you all found this first video entertaining. It's only going to get better from here. So if you didn't like what I had to say or how I said it, my cadence, I'm going to work on that. But this is the first episode. First episodes are always rough. But with that being said, I hope you all have a fantastic day, and God bless.